Hello everyone, welcome to Kitabi Cabins. My name is Charu and today I will be recommending books on the theme of feminine rage. Feminine rage as a idea is getting talked about a lot in the recent few times. It is being represented in the media and in the films as well. Before I get into the books that talk about female rage, I want to recommend this article which is Kali and the Feminine Rage by Carlin Carlson. She did a wonderful job at dissecting what it means to have feminine rage and how is it different from being just the normal angry sad wala part. Because if you see this entire wave of hot girl summer talks about the sadness of womanhood, and sadness is somehow still related to a very feminine character of ladies. At the same time, the anger is completely not seen as a very feminine trait. It's something which is very off putting. And the moment a lady steps out into the zone of anger, she's considered as an outcast. And later, the writer is talking about goddess Kali and how the representation of female rage has been represented through her. 10 on 10 would highly recommend. The next book I want to talk about is Unre Journals of Sylvia Plath. इस किताब में इतनी ज़्यादा angst है. It is a collection of journals of Sylvia Plath from the age of 16 to the age she died. She committed suicide by putting her head in the oven. And you'll see growing parts of Sylvia with you. The early 16-17 part has the teenage angst, and it goes on to finding love and isolation and depression at the same time. Her finding Ted Hughes. Ted Hughes was her husband. This book was earlier published by Ted Hughes under a very abridged version, जिसमें बहुत ही ज़्यादा filters थे. Later it was that we got the unabridged version as well. And Ted, being a complete witch, burnt the last 3 journal entries जो Sylvia ने लिखी थी before she committed suicide as well. There are parts in the book जहाँ पे Sylvia is talking about the anxiety and the embarrassment she feels कि she's showing her written work to Ted Hughes और फिर Ted को वो पसंद नहीं आ रहे हैं, वो गलतियाँ निकाल रहा है and she'll think less of herself कि मैं इतनी अच्छी writer नहीं हूँ than Ted Hughes. This is one emotion to look at जो मेरे को बहुत ही प्यारा लगता है इसमें throughout the entire journal entries of her. And will agree that Ted does write beautifully. Ted की एक collection है birthday letters करके जिसमें he writes collected poetry. He is writing about how he met Sylvia for the first time. अगर आपको इस पूरे universe में जाना है तो get started with the Sylvia Unbridged Journals and Ted Hughes birthday letters. The next book I want to talk about is Gone Girl by Gillian Flynn. It is the book from where the movie Gone Girl was made, and if you really like the movie, तो please इस book को भी पढ़ना because it's magnificently written. The internal monologues you'll find in this book are absolutely crazy क्योंकि Amy was a crazy औरत खुद से भी, and I love it for her. But more of the intense dialogues between Amy and her own mind are beautifully written in this book. And going on the same lines of women killing men, we have the next book, The Dry Heart by Natalia Gunzburg. The angst, the anger, the feminine rage in this book is so well done, almost on the similar lines as Gone Girl. The next book I want to talk about is Anne Sexton's Portrait in Self-Letters. Anne Sexton does a beautiful job at just portraying what womanhood feels like. In her collection, she's basically spitting out facts on every page. She's calling out every person without any fear or remorse at the same time. It'll make you question and it will make you very anxious reading it, which I think is the entire theme around the feminine rage wala concept as well. The next book I want to talk about is The Days of Abandonment. The story is about a woman descending into a depressive episode after her husband leaves her with 2 kids, how the lady is trying to find herself, trying to find herself back again with 2 kids at the same time. On a very subtle note, you'll feel it very stupid in the sense that the lady is just angry and not doing anything about improving how to get her life together. But I think it is the beauty of the entire book, the lady being angry for his situation. The next books I want to recommend are The Virgin Suicide and The Girl Interrupted. दोनों ही books के ऊपर movies बनी हुई हैं. You must have watched the movies as well. I know ये बहुत ज़्यादा disturbing है. I recommended them to one of my friends. उसने पूरी भी नहीं की complete. I read them when I was 14. Maybe मेरे को उस वक्त कुछ ऐसा गलत नहीं लगा इन किताबों के साथ में, या something was completely off with me at that time. But I remember loving the characters. Talking about the next book is My Year of Rest and Relaxation. On surface ये किताब थोड़ी सी ऐसे लग सकती है कि it's very ridiculous, but it is dealing with anger and going through depression and anxiety at the same time. बड़े ही new तरीके में I would say that, क्योंकि the conventional idea of a very subtle and meek lady has been just abrupted from the entire book. I think you would like this book as well. The last one I want to talk about is it's a poetry collection, The Violin Bent Backwards Over the Grass by Lana Del Rey. You can say anything about Lana Del Rey as an artist, or जो भी उसका entire persona है around the girls जो Lana Del Rey सुनती हैं, whatever it is. But you need to agree with me कि Lana writes beautifully यहाँ पे. Her poems just radiate this womanhood की energy. She writes being a lady with so much poise. I remember there is this one of the poem जिसका नाम है LA Who Am I to Love You. काफ़ी लंबी poem जाती है. And you can also find YouTube पे recitals of Lana Del Rey herself, which are beautiful. And I know थोड़ा hate मिलता है because this entire genre of celebrity books is hated, but Lana has done a very fine job at it. I think I'll wrap up my video here. यही थी इस बारी की recommendations. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being kind, and I will see you next time.